Welcome back to another episode of Catching Up with Katie. So today we are going to do some questions from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube from y'all. Some of you have just given us some topics. We did ask for non-animal topics for this video, but then we just, we like to catch up on what's going on with the farm, which this past week was very sad, unfortunately. We did kick off calving season and we had lots of babies, which y'all will be seeing here on YouTube, but we also had a loss of Bubbles. So Bubbles is one of my goats. She is my second goat ever, actually. So she's like one of the OGs, and not quite sure what has happened quite yet because we did take her for a necropsy to have her diagnosed to see what happened in case it is something that I could have prevented, or I can take measures for my other goats that I could learn from, or it might give me a little peace of mind if it was something that I couldn't have prevented. So we are really, really sad about that. That was yesterday, and honestly, I'm cried out, so we're not going to harp on that too much in this video, but that's pretty much the significant thing that happened this week, unfortunately.
Nothing else?
I mean, we did ICSI. We took the mares and did ICSI. Ginger came home from the vet. All is well with that. But yeah, I think that's the big thing.
A lot of the same questions were about like your makeup and your hair. So for the first part, you can just say like what products you use, what products are your favorite, kind of like why your hair looks so good.
My hair, so I have it slicked back today with a product called Oil from My Scalp. From not washing it for 8 days. So if you thought that I had purposefully slicked it back, thank you. And hold on to that. Keep thinking that. We've just been so busy the last few days that I've meant to have my hair done so many times this week, and it just never happened. But it will get washed tonight because the cattle sale is this weekend, and we have the dinner tomorrow and all that good stuff. So, but generally, I mean, I feel like I used to be a lot more high maintenance than I am now. When I was learning like my makeup style and learning about what products to use and things like that, it was in that 2014 like matte full coverage era.
Like the square eyebrows.
Like the triangle of concealer. Baking, like, and it was kind of okay. I don't like to look back at super up close pictures, but it was like my eyebrows were definitely like blocky, but they never went super thick, which was good. I kind of got away with it because I was 20, not 28.
Yeah.
And so being 18 to 20, when I was learning all of that, I didn't have like a single eye crease. And so when I baked and like had all of this baking, meaning you took powder and like just smashed it into your face, it didn't look as like creasy and thick.
I keep catching him like doing his little to the camera, to the Nate cam.
The Nate
just
cam.
In case.
The Nate cam. So we do want to do a video soon where I do your makeup while we're talking. And I won't do 2014 makeup. I'll do like 2024 glam makeup. But
okay.
Because I feel like I have evolved in a better form. So like today, for example, and like I feel like what I'm wearing today is a good example of what I like if I do my makeup on a daily basis now. This is what I do, and it is so much less than it used to be.
Yeah.
I used to do every step every day and have a full face of makeup every single day.
Full beat.
And that's not bad. It's just that was what I really enjoyed doing back then. But now, like, I very much more focus on having like my actual skin looking better versus just covering it with full coverage foundation. And luckily, like my hormones in my later 20s have evened out, so I don't have as much acne as I used to. So I can get away with stuff. But generally, like today, I have Pixie blush on top of moisturizer. I took a little bit of Milk bronzer and did it like right here and right here, little on my nose. I use like I just use the same products all the time now instead of having like a variety that I'm having to get whatever's new out. Like I know what I like. I have the Anastasia Brow Wiz on my brows. I like the Fenty Fly Liner for my liner. I do drugstore lashes these days. I mean, every now and then I'll treat myself to some Lily lashes, but generally like some Ardell's or, like just wispy lashes. Trying to think, like I really like the NYX juicy, lip stuff. I don't really like matte anymore. I feel like in my also later 20s versus early 20s, I don't really care as much about the name brand if it's a good product. I used to want like whatever was the newest thing and whatever, and some of my products are nice and then some of them are drugstore. It's like a very good mix. Like my go-to base for my skin, for having it look nice and like hydrated, is the Bobbi Brown face base and the Guerlain Gold. Those are both very expensive things, but they last a freaking long time, and I feel like I've cut down on like what else I use. Like I don't have on any concealer or foundation right now. And I feel like it looks pretty decent.
It looks good. You have good skin.
Thank you. You want to cut it off and wear it?
Yes. I don't have great skin, but leather face.
Actually, you know what we should do? We should do Nate's makeup for the video.
Nate should do our makeup, because you remember Nate said he kind of knows how to do makeup.
He says he knows how to do makeup, and
he can't do eyeliner though.
One day he was like, I have to have all of these tools in my belt, because if I'm producing a movie or a video and the girl comes in and she doesn't look good, you think I can't fix it for her?
I can, but
not the
to
eyeliner.
be fair, the eyeliner that we had to shoot that video was a blunt crayon.
It was.
And
it
I'm
was.
used to liquid.
Okay.
So.
Well, I think we had both, but I'm pretty sure you brought a liquid liner.
It was dried out.
That was Macy's.
Yeah, I lost it. Sorry.
I think he's lying.
I don't think he actually knows how to do makeup, and he just has to be good at everything, so.
I do know. I know.
Okay, we might have to test that out. Maybe I do your makeup and he does my makeup
Now,
in that video.
I'm not as good as you. That's for certain. But I'm better than you might think I would be.
I thought you were going to say, but I'm better than you. I was like,
Definitely
okay.
better than Abigail.
Okay.
I will
probably
say,
are.
I feel like
I'm
you've
probably not.
started doing a little bit more this past year.
I have.
Because I remember when we first met and we went to Congress like a month after meeting, and we were there for 5 days together in a hotel room. Because I was like, oh shoot, the one thing I forgot was my setting powder. And you're like, I just got my first setting powder ever.
And it was terrible.
It was, but but I, I feel like you didn't really wear a whole lot of, and you still don't wear, you're the clean girl look.
Yeah.
Which I like. It looks beautiful.
I think it just seems like that because I don't do eye makeup. I only do mascara.
Yeah, but I feel like now, and I like it so much better now, the trend with makeup, and I'm like, why were we not always doing this, is to look like your skin to look like your radiant skin. It's not just creating a mask with full coverage, everything, and matte, and that's what I am more focused on these days than eye looks.
Yeah.
I'll still throw on a little glitter every now and then on my eyes if we're doing an actual full makeup look. But generally speaking, I just try to make my skin look better. But that's also probably because I'm 28 instead of 20, and so my skin doesn't naturally look amazing anymore, and I have to...
It looks pretty good.
Thank you.
So what skincare products do you use then?
Honestly, and this is terrible, I don't do anything these days. I barely wash my face right now. When I do, I go through stages because I have a lot of Tatcha stuff because I really like their moisturizer. I really like their cleansers and stuff like that. It just feels very clean. It doesn't feel very heavy or like abrasive, but I'm terrible right now. I go through phases. I go through the phase where I do 7 steps at night. And then I go through where I'm like, I don't touch my face, actually. I use a Maybelline makeup wipe and call it a day. So I'm in the not doing anything phase, unfortunately. But I'm also eating better and drinking so much more water, which I feel like is, yeah, well,
Sponsored by Stanley.
I wish.
I'll get a free one. That would be nice.
If you warm this up. But yeah, I feel like that has a big part of it too. Is like I'm just so much more hydrated and less inflamed by eating better, because I've said this on TikTok. So I'm like 35-ish pounds down right now from June, and so that's helped out a lot with my skin, I think.
Yeah.
Just like we ate pizza today for the first time in forever because we got it for everybody down at the barn, and I already feel it in my stomach.
It was so good.
Not feeling good.
It was so good. I could eat more. And I had 3.
I had 2 pieces.
I had 3.
I had to kind of stop myself. I was like, she was good, Katie.
It's good self-control.
Yeah.
So what about hair? You didn't really mention.
I honestly feel like the fact that I don't wash it very much is a part of why it looks good. I mean, I wash it about once a week, I would say. That is...
Do you?
I feel like if you averaged it out over a year, it'd be once a week, because sometimes it's like, if, you know, I have a couple things going on, I have to wash it, and then sometimes I go 2 weeks. Like, it is what it is. People are going to think that's disgusting, but, I mean, my hair is so long and thick that when you see it on top of my head in a bun, we're over a week. Like, there's no way we're under a week when I'm doing that, which has been like this entire week.
We're going on like a good...
I'm at a week and a half right now.
I'm at like 16 days.
Oh, dear. Yours never looks greasy.
Of not washing your hair? Do you still...
Not taking a shower.
Are you serious?
No.
I was about to ask... Wait, so y'all still take showers?
Yes. You don't wash your hair every time you get in the shower.
No.
It's a
I do.
hassle.
Well,
Well,
for
of
me,
course you
like,
do.
it takes... My slowest shower is 30 minutes. Because I wash my hair twice. I've learned with how thick my hair is and my specific scalp, I have to wash it twice.
I wash mine twice too.
Yeah. And then I like to let my like conditioner set, and usually if I'm doing a hair wash, I have like I do a mask, but I don't have to do a mask for my quickest shower. But, you know,
A hair mask or a face mask?
a hair mask.
What is
And
that?
Like you get like I like to do hydrating masks, so you put it on, leave it on for like 15 minutes.
So it's just like conditioner?
Yeah, but it's like a little extra.
Okay.
You do it first. So I like to do things like that. It definitely needs, like, I've got some split ends going. I definitely need to get it trimmed, and we can get what the people think about my idea.
Yeah.
So when Jonathan first met me, I was blonde, like very, very, very blonde. I don't think I want to go blonde, but I think it's time for a little dimension. Like, this is very close to my natural color. I kind of want to... This is... Okay, I don't want to sound like that girl who's like, my hair's just so healthy that it doesn't hold a curl. But, like, honestly, ever since I've gone back to my natural color and not had any bleach in it and very little heat use and stuff like that, it is very healthy. And whenever I try to do my hair now, it is very difficult. It does not hold anything.
Yeah.
It is like, I always end up just straightening it because it's easier. So I kind of want to go do a little balayage or something like that, mainly to damage it so that I can curl it again.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Because I do miss curling it and like it doing big hair.
Yeah.
And going into the winter, because during the summer I don't, but during the winter, like I like to do my hair and stuff. So we might have a little bleach in it here soon. I don't know. Do a little cut. It's like my layers are gone.
Would you do like the bangs? Not like full bangs, but like
I
would you
think I'd
do
do
more
some
of the
curtain-y
little
bangs.
face frame?
I think I'd do some curtain bangs. So I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to do that. But yeah, I use Pureology on my hair. But like I said, wash it that often, so my shampoo and conditioner last forever. I don't do anything special, I don't think. I think hair is one of those things that's super genetic.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Like, it's just naturally just like how it is.
Like, I hate to say that,
perfect skin
but-
and perfect hair.
I don't like to be like, look how like knotted it is right now. I pulled it out of a bun and threw it in this nasty ponytail because I didn't want to have it in a bun again. And it just is like that.
It's just like that.
I have a lot of other things I struggle with. Like, I struggle very heavily with weight and with other things with my body image. So I think I can have the hair.
It's fine.
But
You can
also,
have it.
yeah, these issues, like my hairline's pulling back, probably from all these tight ponytails. But
Maybe
Same.
receding hairline.
pull the hat off, Joan.
Oh no. Kidding. It's not bad.
He's growing it back out though,
I am growing it back out.
into like mullet.
Yeah.
Like Party Nate is coming back.
We're on the return.
It could be a lot worse.
It could be worse, yeah. I could be balding,
Exactly.
which I'm not.
And you're 30, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I don't
I think
really hate
we're
on
in it for the long haul.
But
Jonathan's about to be 31. His is very much more receding versus balding.
yeah,
I've always heard that you get your hair from your mother's side. If you're a guy.
I've always
if you're a guy.
heard mom's dad.
Mom's dad? Well, my mom's dad had a head of hair up until his death.
my mom's dad was bald,
Oh, well.
You're in for it.
but like not like shaved head bald.
But
like,
no, but my
like
kids
bald.
in the future, it would be my dad, right?
Yes.
And my dad has a head of hair.
Yeah.
And my pap has a head of hair.
Yeah. If the legend is true.
We'll bypass Jonathan's genes.
Yeah. My grandpa still has hair.
You want to talk more about your college experience?
Yeah, I guess I'm fine with it now. It was a sore subject for a really long time. So I went to Lipscomb University, which I went to Lipscomb from like 6th grade through college. It's a private Christian academy, and then they have their university on the same campus. And so I went there. I was very much wanting to go to Auburn because I really wanted to be on the Auburn equestrian team. And at one point I wanted to be a vet, and then I found out I was not smart enough to be a vet with math and science. But I decided, instead of doing the equestrian team route, that at the time I still had my show horse, and I would rather stay close to home to stay where I could still ride and like go to horse shows and things. And so I did that. I had a very good first year. I made really good grades first year, very similar to high school. And then like met some of my best friends. Like my roommate Ashley is like still a really, really close friend of mine, and like we were absolutely best friends, and so made a lot of really good life tools in college. But I would say at the time, because this was before social media, this was before Jonathan, this was before like anything that is current in my life right now was in existence. I was very lost as far as what I wanted to do, who I thought I was, because at the time I was very much defined by like horse shows. We were putting so much time and effort into that was very much what my whole life revolved around. And so when I stepped away from the horse shows a little bit and was trying to just find like who I was and what I wanted to do, and reality set in a little bit of like, at some point daddy's not going to be paying your horse show bill anymore. At some point you're going to have to figure your own stuff out. And I did not want, I think being like a stay-at-home mom is an exceptional job. I think it is so important. But like at the time, I didn't want to always rely on like a man taking care of me either. And so I did go to school for business. I didn't want to just, kind of leave it up to somebody else to create what I wanted for me. But when I went into it for business, I still didn't have like a plan. And looking back, I should have done marketing, but I went the management route because my family did start the company my dad owns and runs. So my great-grandfather started the business, and then my pap took it over, and then my dad after him. And while it wasn't like a shoo-in that family is what takes it over, it was always open that if I wanted to go to work there and work my way up, I could. But it was just like a really conflicting time of like I knew that was there, but I could not see myself doing it. But I also didn't know what other option I had that would fulfill me. And so I started doing like a little bit of freelance makeup stuff and like leaning into like other passions that were outside of horses. And then when it came to sophomore year, things didn't go like better. They kind of went worse. So I like got into Greek life. I got into a sorority. At that small of a school, if you're not in a sorority or a fraternity, there was like nothing to do. It was very small. And so like all of the events, all the intramural sports, all like everything was kind of like tied in with Greek life. And so I did that, and I'm glad I did it. Like it was a good experience, but I kind of like met a guy. He was terrible. College has a lot of like talking about college has a lot of, I didn't honestly think we were going to deep dive like this right now, but I'm thinking about the fact that I kind of have to explain my college experience. So I'm going to go ahead and give a little trigger warning in case you don't want to watch something that includes an ED or depression or toxic relationships or things like that. Don't keep watching. But I did start having like a really unhealthy relationship with exercise and food. I did start having a really bad relationship with the male attention. I did lose myself, I think, for a bit. Like very much after like a high school and middle school experience of not having your typical like male attention and not feeling very like confident in yourself, and then like I lost a bunch of weight and got very, very skinny and very obsessive over it and going through binge eating periods and then like very restrictive periods, and like my anxiety went through the roof, my depression kind of, which at the time I didn't even know I had depression. Like I just wouldn't get out of bed and stopped going to class and started failing and started neglecting everything. Like I don't even think my parents know about this part, but at some points I was so low that I was supposed to be going to horse shows. And this is like so also just entitled of me. Like I look back at what like I was so entitled or so like spoiled that I had these parents that were so supportive of me financially and emotionally, that like financially they're paying for me to be at college. Like I did have a scholarship, but financially they're covering the rest of it so that I didn't have to have a job during college. And then they're also paying for me to go do this horse show, and I'm sitting there like having a woe is me, or like had this like gigantic depressive episode where I couldn't get out of bed, and I was just like in turmoil over everything stacking up on top of me as far as schoolwork and everything that was needed, and like relationships and all the things. And I got to the point where I would tell my trainers, oh, hey, I can't get off school. I have a test. Can't come to this horse show until the weekend. And I would tell my parents, oh, yeah, I've got like school or whatever. And I would just not do anything for those days. I didn't go to class. Like I didn't, like it was weird. I look back and I don't understand it still.
Depression.
Yeah. Like I look back, I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
And like would just sob in my car in the parking lot, like just feeling terrible over like the choices I was making, and over my priorities and things. But eventually, like you can't keep doing that without repercussions. And eventually I got kicked out at the end of my sophomore year. They were like, you can't come back, unfortunately. And so I had to sit out a semester, and I went to a community college for a semester. And then I went back, and I was dating Jonathan when I went back, and I attempted to stay and like finish. But at the time, like I was in a better headspace, I would say. I was a better headspace with food. I was in a better, because like in the midst of all that depression stuff, I was eating like 400 calories a day and running 5 miles a day. Or like if I binge ate, I would go run 8 miles at 2 a.m. in Green Hills. How I didn't get abducted, I don't know. Very like punishment exercises to myself. And like, you know, like I remember just being like absolutely gaunt looking in my face, and like in my RA came up to me. It was like, I don't want to be seeing your shoulders this pointy anymore. Like what can we do? Like, and it was to the point like I didn't go home as much because my mom was gonna pull me out if I kept losing weight, and like it was it was not great. And in the midst of it, you know, boy trouble. Like it was just like all of these things. Like I feel like I kind of lived a very sheltered horse girl life up until college, and then all of life's possible troubles at that point. Not all of them, but you know, like relationship issues, eating issues, depression. Like the workload of school was more than I'd ever done, because in high school I was very much the person that did not have to study, did not have to do anything, and I just made good grades. Like that just came easy to me, which I feel like was to my detriment for college. And in the midst of it, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I had no like goal, which I feel like was part of the problem. I didn't know what I was working towards. I was just doing something because I knew I had to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And once I went back in junior year, I went back long enough to like I took a little with my sorority and, you know, did some stuff with that. But at the time, social media started kicking up, and I had started doing the TV show. And that's like I'm a little salty about the TV show, because they like had promised me like this whole year's worth of filming. And after I'd done the few episodes that I did for season 3, I stayed out of college because I was like, this is a really cool opportunity. I'm gonna stay out of college. And then they like ghosted me, and then I wasn't enrolled anymore. And then I started working for my dad at the office. So, and then I hated that so much. Like there was like a really dark period of my early 20s when I just honestly had no clue what I was supposed to do, but also like in the most privileged way possible. Well, you know, I mean, like
just because other people have other things going on doesn't mean that yours are less important to you.
I know, but it's like, oh no, you were sad, so you had a job waiting for you at your dad's office. You know, like it's I have these, I don't know. I just look back and I wanted to like smack me and be like, your problems aren't that bad. Shut up.
Yeah. Is that how you feel about me when I talk about my problems?
No, not at all.
You just want to be like, in 5 years, this isn't going to matter.
Some things, and sometimes I tell you that. But no, you're still allowed to feel things. And you're going through your experiences right now. And I do not regret anything, because I feel like that's what put me where I am right now. Because had I not gotten kicked out of school, would I have been open for that TV show? And like that TV show, even though it didn't work out, gave me a lot of tools that I use now. You know, even like a lot of really cool, like I've met a lot of really cool people, connections. Had I not gotten kicked out of college, would I have met Jonathan when I did?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I don't regret any of it. But my college experience wasn't great. And it wasn't my college's fault. It was definitely like a lot of self-inflicted issues. But at the same time, it also was like my first ever experience with depression, in which I've had very up and down a relationship with. And like the whole food thing too, like very up and down relationship with food where like I've obviously been heavier in the last few years, and it's almost the opposite end of the spectrum where I would be afraid if I started to like diet that I'd get back into what I was doing, where it was miserable. Like,
Yeah.
like I can remember, because I'd always count my calories super carefully, and I can remember if we went somewhere and there wasn't like an option that I knew how much the calories were, or if I allowed myself to have like a milkshake or like something that was super indulgent, then I would like cry because I felt so guilty or because I was so regretful, and I would make everyone around me miserable with just because of food, just because of my relationship with it. And so it was a lot easier to ignore it. Like, okay, I'm just going to ignore my issue with food and I'm going to eat what I want. And that was fine for a while when you're younger and your metabolism is working. But then I've always kind of battled with PCOS as well. And like, I've always had issues that go along with PCOS, but probably when I hit like 24, 25 is when they started really getting worse and harder to deal with. And eating bad food and inflammatory food, and like it then gets to where you can't just diet for 2 weeks and 5 pounds comes off, or you can't, it's like a lot harder to just like regulate yourself. And so then it just kind of compounded on top of itself. And then when you get to the point where you're like bigger than your boots and bigger than your whatever, then you're not riding as much, which then you're not exercising as much, and then so there's like a bit of a spiral in different areas. We just got into a whole lot of other areas than just college. College just sparked this whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's okay. I'm enjoying not having to talk so much.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Apologize.
I don't really know where I just ended it. I think I spiraled. I think yesterday losing my goat, and then like, I don't know, I'm in my feels a little bit. Abigail, you haven't barely talked in this, so tell us a little bit about your college experience.
Oh, no. For real?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to make it like super long.
Like I did.
I don't want to just like ramble forever.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It brought up so many things that all tied into college.
I
But
think it's good. It's
anyway.
good. Okay. I went to MTSU. When I applied, I had my major as nursing.
You didn't tell me that.
I've been on many different paths. I like get really excited about one thing, and I like over obsess over it for a few weeks, and then I try it. It's not fun, and I move on to the next thing. And so I thought, oh, nursing, it'll be
easy.
Easy, not easy like as in the schooling, but easy is just like that's something that like I can pick, and I know exactly what I'll do after. Mm-hmm. Like with like business.
Like it's a path.
Right.
It's a hard path.
It is a path, and you know exactly what you're doing, and yeah. And then like as soon as before I even made my schedule, I changed my major to animal science. And so that's what I was my first year. And then I did honors, and it was terrible, and it was really hard, and I quit that. And then I changed my major to event planning because I decided that I wanted to be a wedding planner. And
I have not heard of any of these.
so that lasted for 1 semester. That was my sophomore, so that was my 3rd semester in college. And then after 1 semester, I changed it back to animal science. So the end of my sophomore year, I was back to animal science. And then going into my junior year, I changed my major to business. And then I actually stuck with that the rest of the time. But that's just, I mean, I still don't know. Like, I don't have a certain thing that I'm like, that's what I know that that's what I want and that's what I'm like working towards. Because with my degree, I could do a lot with it, but it's not stuff I want to do. It's like, I don't want to work in an office. I don't want to sit behind a desk all day. I have so many different interests, but it's hard for me to just narrow in on one and be like, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so so those are all the majors I had. I don't know. What else do you want to know about my college experience?
I don't know. What non-schooling skills do you think you learned there? Like, what do you think you brought from it?
I became
the most?
a lot more social, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still, like, not the best at, like, meeting people or, like, I don't know. I feel like when it's, I don't know how to speak right now. I made a lot of friends my, like, sophomore year. I started working on campus, and I made a lot of friends. And I had never, like, I don't know, like, in high school, I feel like you just have friends, and you don't really have to, like, well, not everyone. But, like, the cool people. No. So, I don't know. It was kind of like you just went to class with people, and, like, you just kind of naturally were friends, and, like, you didn't really have to try. And then it was harder in college when you, like, don't know people, and you have to actually make an effort and be like, do you want to, like, hang out? I don't know. So I met a lot of people that way, and that's where most of my friends came from now.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have really bad, like, social anxiety. Like, I wouldn't go to the store by myself. I wouldn't leave, like, my apartment when I first moved up here. I wouldn't go, like, get groceries. I don't know what changed. I guess I got around people more and started being more social, and now I'll go to the store by myself.
I feel like you've gotten so much more out of your shell even last year because, I mean, we go out of town quite often and you meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not be the one talking the whole time, but,
No.
you know, like, you seem so much more comfortable.
I am. I don't know what flipped.
Your frontal lobe is starting to close as well. You're getting to that age.
Yeah. I don't, like, overanalyze every single thing that I'm saying now before I, like,
That
have
was
a
the thing
conversation
when I
with someone.
worked at my dad's office. I was on the phone quite often, and I had a lot of anxiety over that, and it was kind of in the depths of, like, that, you know, depression, anxiety, questioning myself, low self-esteem kind of deal. And so he, like, threw me to the wolves on the phone, and he was like, oh, well, you'll get over it by the end of the day. And
I hate talking on the phone.
I probably messed up so much that day. I mean, I got better, obviously. I worked there for a year and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still, like, I bet if Vicky, who I worked under at the office, I bet if she watched this episode, she'd be like, I had to fix so many things every single day behind her because I'm so technologically challenged. And so a lot of it was, I was the receptionist, but I also had to do some, like, we called it the scanner list, and it was basically in the warehouse, they would scan in all of these items because they were part of what my dad does and what the business does is they have a company that buys out liquidating companies and then we resell. And so it's a lot of auto parts, like mainly auto parts. And so I worked in the warehouse a little bit too when I was younger. So I would go out there and, like, I'd be scanning. I worked there for a little while. So I remember when I was scanning out, there was a lot of windshield wipers or spark plugs and, like, things like that. I mean, you just scan the same thing over and over again. And so the scanner list, I would have to go through the scanner list that they scanned, make sure it matched what was in our system, and, like, do that. Mm-hmm. And there's also a guy named Cody that worked in there. I bet behind me, I bet they absolutely hated me. Not because we had a great time. Like, I loved working with them as far as, like, personalities.
Yeah.
But I bet, like, I think,
Shove
you know,
it clean
I
up
always
behind.
wonder, because I'm like, I thought I did a good job, but I'm like, did I? I don't know. Maybe they just didn't tell me.
Yeah. There was, somebody asked if you had ever done an escape room. And I was laughing at that because I was just picturing, like, all of us in an escape room. And
We should.
And, like, the yelling and the arguing that would happen between, like, you and Nate and you and Jonathan. Oh, it would
We
be
should do
so
an
bad.
escape room. I have. So we went, it's been a long time. We did it with a group, like it was a date, like a group date. And I very much was like the person in the group project that didn't do anything when I went, I'm pretty sure.
Just observing.
Yeah.
We should go to will they let you film in, like, haunted houses and stuff?
Oh my gosh.
I don't do haunted houses.
I'm not going in a haunted house.
I don't do haunted houses.
I might could do it if I was filming though.
Are you scared?
I'm very scared.
I
don't
love, like,
them.
haunted houses and, like, haunted trails and stuff.
Of
You
course you
like
do.
them?
What do you mean by that?
You love like scary movies and stuff. I hate it.
I love it. I love getting scared.
The anxiety of it. Why?
When the chainsaw cranks up.
No, absolutely not.
That seems like something that would be fitting for you.
Sounds
Okay,
like
for
sounds like
you.
a great idea for you. That's
Okay.
Nate's new thing. He puts "for you" at the end of sentences, and it makes it so mean.
He said something earlier, and he was like, I think even, like, for you could probably do that.
Yeah, you got to throw an even in there.
Even you.
Even for you.
Wrap it up.
Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I mean, it kind of got really dark and then silly and then weird, and you know, we're just here for it. So let me know what other topics you would like for us to cover in upcoming Catching Up with Katie's. Let us know if you would like guests and who those guests you think should be. And yeah, see you next Monday.